Hey, thanks for joining me. Wildstorm swimsuit. That's all it says. Wildstorm swimsuit. Special issue? Who knows? Just Wildstorm swimsuit. Why not? I've talked about this. I showed one just recently that I'd already shown on the channel like 3 years ago. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show some more of these again because why not? I like to show what I want to show on my channel. I can make my own decisions. Damn it, I'm a big boy. And I like seeing, these artists do either these swimsuit issues are either an artist's excuse to. I feel like these are obviously done just for fun. They're done just to have a good time and just be kind of lighthearted and not take things so seriously, which I'm actually all for. I know a lot of people talk about these swimsuit issues as I've heard a lot of people talk about like, oh, it's so embarrassing. Like, no, it's not. Like, lighten up because it's all done for fun. And I've heard some people say like, oh, it's, you got to buy an entire comic for just a bunch of pinups. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's just all about the art and artists drawing hot ladies or some kind of funny scenario. And I actually think that's fun. It kind of makes it feel like, this is kind of a dumb idea, but like when you see these books like this and you see heroes and villains sometimes interacting with each other at a beach, riding wave riders or on boats or playing volleyball or some shit, when again they're like characters that are mortal enemies in the comics, it almost makes it feel like the comics themselves are just movies and the characters are just actors, and this is the behind the scenes in between filming movies, and they're just all together having fun. I think it's fun, it's entertaining, but ultimately the difference is the art inside these good? Well, usually there's at least some things that are good in here. You got Jim Lee on the cover, doing the Gen 13 characters, and boy, does Jim Lee suck the life out of the Gen 13 characters, like big time. This one, I have to say I give it so much more credit for, because some of these damn things don't give you a table of contents that you can follow, and sometimes the art doesn't list who the fuck did it. So if you're like, that looks really good, I would really like to know who did that, you're just kind of stuck. But this one, they go out of their way to show you who does what. Starting out with Joe Chiodo. I was talking about the last one that I was looking at that he did. Most of the art that he put in the previous book I was looking at was like, I think it was painted stuff. Maybe not all of it, but he does like to do the painterly style. And he's got kind of like an old school kind of sensibility. This kind of has that. His old school sensibility is more like a soft, rounder figure rather than long, skinny, lean, slender figures. Either way is great, and that's a pretty solid drawing. I mean, the character is Persephone, a.k.a. Red. I think that's a Will's Potasio Wetworks character. She's red, but she's got pale skin, but she wears red. That's a good drawing. Scott Williams on inks. It looks like Scott Williams is doing kind of a sketchier line than usual. It's not really on display in too many places, but there's a couple of parts here in the line work where it's a little bit more sketchy, which is fine. Taboo from the Backlash comic, of course, drawn by Brett Booth. I think ink says Sal Regla. Yep. It's kind of fine. I've said this before. I was not a big fan of Brett Booth's earliest stuff, but you could definitely see the talent there. I say this every time. I'm just on repeat. I know. The talent's there, but it wasn't great. But boy, look at anything he does today. And for the last several years, he's like first-rate artist. This is artist Pop Han, M-H-A-N, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, with inks by Chuck Gibson. Some of you follow me closely, you know who Chuck Gibson is. He's an inker for Wildstorm. He did that for several years. And, he's inked my book that's coming out. He's working with me. Hard to believe, right? Chuck Gibson and Rob Norton. Me on story and pencils and Chuck on inks. I am working on putting it together right now. But here's Chuck Gibson inking Pop Han, if that's how you say his name, drawing Void. All this technical gear must have been a pain in the ass to do, but it looks good. Her face looks a little goofy, but the rest of the body is pretty spectacular. Looks good. There's some J. Scott Campbell with Alex Garner. Now, this thing was printed in 94. This has to be very early. I mean, I think Gen 13's just getting going. It's about to take off and be hyper popular. So Campbell was really defining his art style, and I've said this before, he progresses really fast. Again, it's cute. It's kind of fun. I don't know why grunge is like part robot back there, but it looks good. I like this one for the most part. It's Will's Portasio. Pretty sure it's inked by... Oh, no. I was going to say Scott Williams, but that's Alex Garner. That's awesome. Mother One. I do like how Portasio just leans into the fact that these characters wear this gold metal sheathing on their bodies, so he doesn't put any clothing on her to cover her. And, you know, he gives it a little detail. I love Portasio's ability to do the shiny reflective metal on this gold liquid metal body sheathing. It looks so great. The arms, the tech on this, that all looks really cool. The only thing I kind of don't like is her face. It looks really kind of weird. You know, when you're trying to draw an attractive woman, like, I'm not trying to suggest that there's only one way it can be done, but it looks very much Portasio, and it's well drawn, but she's kind of ugly. It's kind of distracting from the rest of the cool parts. But I can't deny that it looks pretty dang good. Great pose, great inking, great coloring. Pretty solid. This is Tom Rainey doing Traveler. Who the hell is Traveler? What the hell book did she ever show up in? I gotta be honest, I have no idea who the hell that is. Traveler. Carl Story on inks. Carl Story is a great inker. This one, I see that damn signature, and every time I have to remind myself. Anthony Vu with Edwin Rossell, who, if I remember correctly, Edwin Rossell, the inker, is passed away, and that sucks. But yeah, this is more of the Wetworks crew, Dane and Pilgrim, and so now they have their little golden goo armor sheathing reduced down to little swimsuit bits. So we get his firm butt, and then she just has little gold little cups covering her breastises, and then a little weird little flap up on her front. I get the idea the artist was going for, but it actually looks kind of weird. And anatomically, this feels like an artist who's talented and just getting going and needs time to develop, but right now it's a little bit structurally kind of janky and wonky. So it's not exactly got my attention, but it's not bad. Oh, there's J. Scott Campbell. This looks very much like his older stuff. Kind of the look on her face. It's just like his earlier work. He defines his work really quickly. I know I just said that, but it's just how it is. It's the truth. It's not super appealing to me yet, but it doesn't take long for him to become suddenly like grandmaster artist. Yeah, that's J. Scott Campbell with Scott Williams inking. Looks great. Even if it's like, you know, his earlier style that I'm not a huge fan of. You got Grifter, drawn by Trevor Scott, right? Yeah, who I think was normally an inker. But that's a pretty solid drawing. Some interesting kind of line work going on in the body. Weird little hover water jet thing he's riding on. Let's just flip it over and look at it proper. That's fun. And Synergy and Weatherman 1. Very boring characters. Hey, look, it says Norton and Gibson. But this is Dan Norton. Not sure whatever happened to him. I'm pretty sure people have told me. I think he's gone off into animation or storyboards or something like that. And then again, Chuck Gibson on inks. It all looks kind of fine. You know, it's nothing crazy. Spartan and Voodoo. Damn it, gotta flip this over again. Who drew this one? Looking for that signature. It's right there. I can't read it. So, Bobby Rubio. I do not know who that is. Jason Martin on inks. But that's kind of fun. The figures are really solid. That water ski jet, whatever the fuck it's called. That looks really good. The tech is solid. That's kind of fun. Here is J. Scott Campbell, inked again by Chuck Gibson, my buddy, my friend. Great inker. Got to be one of the earliest things up there. I asked Chuck about this recently, and I forgot to look up what he had said. But I think he said something to the effect that he took on this drawing to ink it because no one wanted to ink all those fucking bullet casings. Because what a pain in the ass that would be. Like, J. Scott Campbell, you son of a bitch. Like, yeah, we're going to get a female figure. It's Bliss, and she's naked. Awesome. But she's surrounded by like a swimming pool, a sea of bullet shells. Casings or just full rounds. They don't even look like spent shells or some magazines. It's an interesting idea, but what a pain in the ass. And Chuck was like, I took it. I can do this. Don't worry about it. I got it. And it's pretty solid. That's kind of fun. This one threw me off because I was like, I instantly saw the artist. It's Adam Hughes. But I'm like, I don't ever remember him drawing like this. So he's obviously doing an homage to kind of a anime something. I'm sure this is a reference to something that I don't know what it is. It's and like anything Adam Hughes does, it's well drawn. It's like, look at the background, so technically flawless, such great backgrounds. There's, quote unquote hyper popular artists out there that couldn't in their wildest dreams even imagine drawing backgrounds like this level. And of course, Adam Hughes loves to draw muscular female figures. They're cute and they're kind of funny and expressive. I'm not a huge fan of, I much prefer his normal style, not doing this anime thing here, but he's obviously kind of goofing around intentionally for a specific reason. So whatever it is, it's really solid. Just not my favorite thing. There is some Joe Chiodo painting. Yeah. Nice curves, great, obviously painting technique. He knows what he's doing. Blood Queen. Who's the Blood Queen? That's a really generic name. Is that from Wetworks? Don't know. Zealot, drawn by Scott Clark with inks by Sal Regler. It's just kind of a basic. She's just kind of standing there. Not really anything interesting going on. This one, Tapestry. I'm pretty sure it's Michael Lopez. Yeah. I like the idea of the pose. It's interesting. It's a little bit, I don't know. Something about the way it's all kind of connected. It looks right, but also looks kind of weird. And this Michael Lopez went on to become a really, really fantastic artist. He's obviously really good to start, but it's kind of fine. Another Anthony Vu Gen 13 thing. Again, just artists having fun. They're rollerblading, goofing around. That's a good time. Fahrenheit, the Stormwatch member, the redhead with powers of fire or flames or heat. That the only thing I know about her is that she died when the xenomorphs attacked Stormwatch and killed everybody. I didn't know she could walk through lava. Is that a thing? Even if it's not a thing for real, it's just kind of like, it's a swimsuit issue. It's done for fun. Pretty sure that's Brett Booth, right? Yeah. Booth with inks by Tom McWeeny. He's really good. That's kind of a fun drawing. I like it. Good figure. Playful, interesting kind of concept, having the girl walking through lava. I don't know that she could actually do that, though. Matt Broom. I've been looking at some of the issues of Stormwatch. He was on Stormwatch for a good long run, and he definitely had something. This is not my favorite drawing. The girl's figure is kind of the weakest element. It's kind of okay, but no big deal. But that bike, the tech on it, that is impressive. Like, hell yeah, my dude. He killed that. But the girl, I don't think it's very great. Death Blow, sinking under the watery depths with a gun that fires underwater, killing monsters by Tom Rainey. That's fun. Savant by Ryan Benjamin. That one actually looks pretty solid. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some reference going on for the figure, because that's kind of a challenging angle to get. And kind of nailed it. God damn, this Pilgrim. I always forget. Alan M. Another name that I'm familiar with. I know I've seen, but I don't know almost anything about. And again, inks by my boy, Chuck Gibson. Inks looks solid to me. I mean, this is early on in Chuck's career, and I'm sure he looks at it and, he could critique himself, but, he's probably like, yeah, it's the best I could do at the time, but I'd probably do it differently now. But that's all of us, right? So, pretty solid. Michael Lopez doing Sister Mary and Deathblow. Deathblow is a character that's kind of funny to put him in a playful beach setting because he was nothing but a character all about dark and depressing and scary and overly dramatic and not that interesting, honestly. But to see him like, I'm at a beach. Oh, that's fun. And then another Scott Clark doing the Coda, the super deadly, super sexy, very uninteresting warrior babes from Wildstorm. So it's just a bunch of generic girls in bikinis just sitting around. Scott Clark again, kind of fine. No big deal. God, Rainmaker and Burnout. There's a signature, but that is an unreadable signature. Tom McWeeny. How is that a signature? That's kind of fun. Rainmaker and Burnout. She's in a super robotic suit that is the Mega Drench 9000. It's all about water pressure to put the guy who turns into flame to put him out. This one is interesting. Cybernary by Travis Charest. This is old school Travis Charest art. Obviously, it's 94, right? Is what I said. Yes, December of 94. Man, you can see all the things that Travis Charest does really well. That technical background, the tank barrels, the machinery, amazing. The kind of basic composition is good. The figure's a little weird, specifically in this area right here. The placement of them boobies is kind of odd and kind of spread apart, and like this one's being pulled way up under her underarm and on her side. It looks really kind of weird. But that aside, I like her face. I like her big headdress and her hair. And the whole idea of the thing that she's just kind of sitting on this tank. It's pretty interesting. I like the color going on too. Old school Travis Charest. This one, Jeff Rebner, right? Yeah, Nikita. The girl from Stormwatch with no nose. It looks so stupid. The drawing, I don't like Jeff Rebner's art. Never been a fan. That girl figure is actually pretty solid. I have to give credit to that. And then the tech machine that she's on looks pretty damn good. So, got to give credit. Not typically a fan of his work, but it looks pretty good. And then you got Terry Dodson and Carl Story on Voodoo and Zealot. That looks pretty solid. It's kind of got an almost Adam Hughes-ish vibe. Great tech on the guns. Yeah, it's pretty solid all the way around. And that's the inside back cover. That's it. It's over. So, yeah, nothing hyper special. Nothing super crazy. It's just a swimsuit issue. But again, like I was saying before, it's all done for fun. It's all just lighthearted. So, who cares? It's good times. And some pretty good art, all things considered. So, yeah, that's all I got on this one. So, thanks for joining me as always. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.